Hello, my name is Miriam Halami, and I'm going to read chapter 1 of Saving Hanno, which is written by me and illustrated by Karin Littlewood, very suitable for children 7 years upwards to learn something about the Kindertransport and what it was like to be a 9-year-old boy having to leave his home in Germany and come to England to strange foster parents, not even being able to speak English. So chapter 1 gives you a flavour of the book, and I'll also show the illustrations. Chapter 1, A New Teacher. Monday the 21st of November, 1938. I wish school would burn down, don't you, Rudy, says Emile, my best friend, his leather bag bumping on his back. Why didn't that mob set fire to it when they burned the synagogue? It's more than a week since anyone went to school. This has been so boring for a boy like me. 11 days ago, Nazi gangs ran down our street and all over town, smashing windows and setting fires and doing other bad things. It was very scary, even though I wasn't allowed to look through the curtains and see anything. Mutti wouldn't let me go out for days. My older sister Lottie was allowed out a bit, of course. She's 15. No one told me anything about what happened. They just kept saying, "Don't worry, Rudy, it's all fine." But Mutti has 2 deep lines across her forehead now, and she looks nervous all the time. She watches the clock all day when Papa's out at work. Papa is a newspaper journalist, and Mutti told him, "Be careful what you write, don't give them any reason." But when I asked any reason for what, no one answered me. It's not fair. It's been horrible being stuck at home for so long. We have a 2nd-floor flat with 3 bedrooms and a big living room facing the street. Papa has a little study next to the bathroom, and the kitchen looks out over the back and more flats. My bedroom faces the street too, and I like playing with my toys in there. But when you're indoors all the time, you feel sort of squashed up and everyone gets bad-tempered. At least I had Hanno to play with. He's my little Dachshund, and he's the best dog in the whole world. I've had him since he was a puppy. He's 2 years and 1 month old now. He goes everywhere with me, except school, of course. Hanno's coat is very smooth and a sort of chocolate brown. His ears feel like the velvet on Mutti's best dress. His legs are quite short, but he can walk and run long distances, all the way to the park, and even as far as Emile's flat, which is near the main square. Hanno is very clever. I've been training him to do tricks. He can almost count to 3 now, I think. His best trick is collecting the letters. He sits on the mat at the front door, and as soon as a letter drops through, he picks it up in his mouth and carries it to me, and he hardly ever gets it wet or chews the corners. And there's the wonderful Karin Littlewood of Hanno collecting the letters. When I stare into Hanno's brown eyes, he stares back without blinking, and I'm pretty sure he can read my mind. Emile and I tried an experiment once. I thought and thought about cinnamon cookies, Hanno's favourite. Mutti makes about a ton every week, and Hanno ran into the kitchen and pointed his long brown nose up towards the cookie tin, barking like a lunatic. "See," I said to Emile. "Amazing," said Emile with his wide grin. If school burned down, what would we do all day, I say now, as we walk on the road that runs by the river. Our city is called Frankfurt am Main because it's on the River Main. It's quite a lot to spell out. I could do it by the time I was 5, but Emile still can't even spell Frankfurt, and we're nearly 9 now, and that's why Emile hates school. "It's easy," he declares. "We play all day in the park with Hanno. Race you!" Emile's taller than me, and he can run like the wind. I follow, my school bag bumping on my back, and arrive puffing behind him at the school gates. But then my stomach does a flip. Konrad Muller is there with his gang. They're much bigger than us, and they're all Hitler Youths. Jews can't join the Hitler Youth, which is a bit unfair, because they have a uniform and go camping and everything. They bully Emile and me and the other Jewish kids. Germany has changed, Papa says every day, tapping the newspaper, his hand running back through his dark, wavy hair. "Hitler's made this country stink." "Then let's go to Palestine," cries out Lottie, her brown eyes flashing. We all have brown eyes and olive skin that tans deep brown in summer. My dark brown hair is wavy like Papa's, but Lottie and Muti have straight brown hair. We're all quite short, not like Emil's family. Lottie's in her own youth group. They used to go camping too. They want to build a Jewish homeland, but they had to stop meeting ages ago. Lottie came home in an awful temper one day and yelled, "We're banned! Can you believe it?" She still sees some of her friends from the group, and when she comes home she talks non-stop about going to Palestine. And Papa says, "Be quiet, please, Lottie. Germany is our homeland, and that's that." "Push off, Jew boy," snarls Conrad now, and punches Emil in the stomach. Emil doubles over, groaning, and the gang crowds round and starts to chant, "Fight, fight." I open my mouth to stick up for Emil, but nothing comes out. Emil straightens and puts up his fists, but his face, usually dark like mine, has gone as white as the ice on the river. Conrad lets out a nasty laugh, and his gang shouts even louder. Then a whistle goes, and I see our teacher, Fraulein Becker, striding across the playground, fair hair in two plaits swinging around her face, cheeks red from blowing so hard on her whistle. My legs go weak with relief. "Time for class. Go inside, please, boys. Emil, Rudy," Fraulein Becker points to us. "Walk beside me. I need you to carry some books from the office." Phew, saved from the Hitler gang again. Emil gives me a grin behind Fraulein Becker's back, but I frown at him. Why can't he keep clear of trouble like Hanno and me? If I see Hitler Youth, I duck down a street or hide behind the rubbish bins until they've gone. Hanno knows when to keep quiet, but he's really brave. He'd never run off and leave me, no matter what, how scary things were. Hanno and I are a team, and we look out for each other. Fraulein Becker piles our arms with books, and we follow her into class. It's silent in the room, which is strange, because usually everyone's calling out and chucking things to each other. Even stranger, Conrad and his gang are sitting in the front row, arms folded neatly on their desks, looking up at a teacher I don't recognise. The teacher has very pale skin, a bit like Conrad and his gang, and he's wearing an armband with a swastika on it. Uh-oh, I think. He's a Nazi. Emil and I dump the books onto the teacher's desk, and then the man with the swastika swipes out at our bare legs with a ruler. We yelp. It really hurts, and Conrad lets out a snort of laughter. "You Jewish boys," shouts the teacher. He points to the yellow stars sewn on our jackets. "All Jews have to wear them now." Lottie says it's despicable, utterly despicable. "Get to the back row, and I don't want to hear or smell you again today." I look over my shoulder at Fraulein Becker. Her face has gone very white. I can see she's feeling upset too. Fraulein Becker doesn't mind that we're Jewish. Emil tugs my arm and pulls me to the back row, and when we sit down I throw him a worried glance. But nothing gets Emil down for long. He gives me a long, slow wink. Terrific. Emil always has a plan. I can't wait for playtime. And there's the illustration from Karin. And so in this first chapter, we begin to see why Jewish children are going to be put on a Kindertransport to England. And this is what will happen to Rudy a few months later. And then he will be separated from his little dog, Hanno. But Hanno will be brought to England. And once he's out of quarantine, they'll be reunited, like in this lovely picture. But now, Hanno and Rudy have a lot of challenges up ahead. And Rudy is going to have to be very brave to save his dog's life. Bye-bye.